Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the year 9 marriage update. As of this recording, I've been married for 9 years and about a month or two. So alhamdulillah. The format I'm going to follow from now on to keep it organized is what went well, what I need to improve on, and some general comments. The thing I like to start off every video with, just in case someone hasn't watched previous ones, is someone may ask, why is it that you're only concentrating on yourself? I might look like, it might seem as though I'm blaming all of my marital issues on myself. The reason I'm talking about myself only is the only one I have control over is myself. Trying to change my spouse is like trying to move a parked car with my bare hands. It's possible to move, but I'm probably not going to get very far. So the more productive thing to do, in my view, is to concentrate on what can I do to improve the state of my marriage. So what went well? This year, I definitely did much better when it comes to listening. And I think one of the main things, if not the main thing that I've done to contribute to the health of my marriage is listening to my wife when she's speaking. There was a time a while ago that I mentioned sometimes I asked her why she hesitates in talking with me, just kind of doesn't want to speak anymore. And she said, well, it's because you keep cutting me off. Why should I talk if you're not going to let me speak? And she has a good point. And so this year, definitely, I have been working more on listening to what she has to say and also trying to repeat back what she has said to demonstrate that I've understood, and also to clarify if I misunderstood something that she said. Whenever we have an argument, I've recently been trying to pause more and waiting for an hour or two before I go back and talk to her. What I found that is, if I'm angry, that's when I tend not to listen. And so I'm waiting for a few hours, and my rationale is we're going to be together forever anyway. I might as well wait for a little bit and then, go back and talk to her when I'm a little bit more calm and can talk more rationally about this issue. So definitely that has helped with me conveying my thoughts in a more productive way, and also being open to listening to what she has to say. I think we also work well together when it comes to our kids. I have a tendency to be a little bit too strict with them. And so we've done a good job, I think, of sitting down and analyzing previous situations, and then discussing how can we have done better in that situation and what are we going to do going forward. And also, one big thing that I realized is, alhamdulillah, that things don't always go my way. I'm the type of person, marriage has made me realize that I like to have my own way. And it's not always going to happen like that, right? You're not going to get everything you want in life. So a recent example of this is in the mornings when everyone's trying to get out of the house, and I'm sure a lot of married people can relate. I'm always trying to, I'm like a drill sergeant. Like, hey, let's, put on your clothes, eat some food, put on your shoes, get your stuff, and let's go. One hiccup in that process a lot of times is they're eating. It takes them a while to get started to eat. They want to jump up. They want to go play. They want to go, ask me something, ask mom something, or, and all of these things start taking away minutes from the time we have left to leave. And so my default is to try and force them to eat. Sit down. You're going to eat right now. You better eat. You have to eat. You have to eat. And of course they resist. That's just naturally what human beings do. Of course they're going to resist. And so after a few times of this, my wife, talked to me, said, hey, let's not try and force them to eat in the mornings. That's not the time to do that. She pointed out that, I'm kind of maybe pushing a little bit too much to get them to eat. And so we agreed that we would put the food in front of them in the morning. So we decide what they eat and they decide how much they eat. We put the food in front of them in the morning and they decide how much they eat. And alhamdulillah, over time, I still get frustrated to this day if they're not eating, because, you want your children to eat, right? So alhamdulillah, it took maybe a few weeks, but now I'd say 90% of the time I put food in front of them. They might go back and forth a few times. I let that go and they eat. So that's not really that big of an issue now. So alhamdulillah, things don't always go my way. And even if I do have a better idea, one of my friends taught me, you have to let other people win sometimes. when it comes to small things and even when it comes to big things. Sometimes there's an alternative of a particular item to buy. I want one style and she wants a different style. If I look at both of them and I say to myself, is this really going to matter all that much, a long time from now? And if the answer is no, then I just let her have her way in that without much of a fuss, if it's not going to inconvenience us a little bit too much. So, alhamdulillah, things don't always go my way because many times her way is better. So what are some things that I need to do better? She told me that when I'm in a rush, a lot of times that's when I'm short and don't really listen. So I need to figure that out because if we need to get somewhere, I want to get there on time. At the same time, I want to do it in a loving fashion. I still want to maintain, continue to build the relationship I have with my family. So I have to figure out how to manage all of that. And also I want to start asking more about her intentions. Many times I've realized that I assume what she is thinking or her intention behind a particular action she took. And so what I want to do now is ask a little bit more tactfully. Hey, you did this. Why did you do that? I felt, concerned or bothered by that thing you did there, that action you took. Could you please explain to me why you did that? And I think the best time for that is after the kids have gone to bed, when we still have a few hours to ourselves. She's usually open. That's when she even has told me that she is more open to discussing feelings and discussing her day and so on. So that's what I've did well and what I need to do better. So general comments. I've realized that I genuinely like being around my wife. It sounds silly what I'm going to say next, but sometimes I'll just follow her around the house. If I really don't have much to do, I'm done with my action. She's going to go and handle the kids. She's going to go, to a closet and go, organize something or whatever she has to do in the house. And I'll just kind of follow her and just, make small talk or whatever. And she's like, don't you have something to do? And I'm like, don't you want a husband that likes being around you? And she just kind of shrugs like, okay, yeah, So I found that I genuinely do like being around her. And I really can't imagine life anymore without her. It's been 9 years and the feelings of singlehood, those memories, they're kind of fading in the background more. And I'm just kind of, the stronger thoughts, the stronger memories that remain are me in my marriage. So, definitely I think that's a good thing. And lastly, I've noticed it's hard to hear when you've done something wrong. So when my wife tells me that I've done something wrong, sometimes I get defensive. That's just what I do. And so now I think I have a little bit more empathy for her when I try and tell her something, and she sometimes gets defensive too, just like all human beings do sometimes, It's really difficult. And what I have to do is just pause and just go back to myself and really analyze and think, am I doing something wrong here? Is there something that I can do better? So definitely I've realized that recently. So I'm going to try and have more empathy for when I'm trying to bring things to her attention that I think she could be doing better. So that's all I have for this video.